Firstly, I'll also like to thank. This is in fact my first opportunity to join a TAI event, and I'm really overwhelmed with the kind of turnout I can see in front of me. Very few apparel events that we organize see this kind of a turnout, so it shows the huge amount of interest and knowledge that is shared in this event. So it's great to be part of an event like this. The issue that we are discussing today is in fact something Apparel Export Promotion Council has been discussing for the last 1.5 months. Why? Because for this sector, this is an extremely special time and milestone. Many of you must have heard of a special package that came in June this year. And that also came because of certain developments that was happening. One, we have been talking a bit since morning about China's vacating. So there has been a major shift in the apparel in that respect, and that's a huge opportunity. We feel it's equivalent to the removal of quota kind of a thing. So we think 2005 was a milestone, and 2015 was an important milestone for the apparel sector. Because there was an in absolute terms also the exports from China declined, and we feel that's an opportunity that should be taken care of. So, which is why the ministry had set a target. We have an apparel package today which talks of an incremental apparel export of 30 billion in the next 3 years. And of course, it has to be commensurate with an increase in investment. So there's a target of $11 billion of investment increase. Basically, to tackle 2-3 issues that the industry has been facing. One is, of course, the major issue we see in terms of all the problems that we're discussing is the scales. The scales at which the apparel sector today is operating is maybe around 10 to 15% of an average. If you just talk of average scales of that in any of the major competing countries we are competing with today. That makes a lot of difference in the major parameters that determine your productivity and competitiveness. And besides that, we had a lot of labor and raw material issues, but I think today we hardly have anything to complain about. In most of these areas, some substantial developments have happened this year. For the last 1.5 months, we have also geared up, as Mr. Saran was also saying, that the councils have to work towards this. And in fact, I'll be very happy to share that Apparel Export Promotion Council, in the last 2 months, we have been going to all the clusters to discuss one thing only, that if you're talking of an incremental growth of this kind, which calls for some 20 to 25% growth, which should be a target. It is not a very ambitious target. Then something differently has to be done about the product basket. As was rightly mentioned, even in the apparel sector, you're talking of around 240 categories at the 6 digit that we talk of when we are exporting. You're talking of the HS codes. So out of that, around 70% is in the top 20 categories only. So that's a highly skewed apparel basket that we are talking of. And but that can be a strategy. In fact, Bangladesh has that kind of a strategy. It has concentrated into some categories. In fact, 80% of their exports is in certain categories, and they're doing well. So that can be a strategy. But has it worked well for India? Actually not. We were looking at the last 10 years of performance, and we see there is a major reason to now introspect. One is where we were and where we are from 2005. That's usually an important milestone to measure oneself. We see that, of course, Bangladesh has overtaken. Today, India has a CAGR, an average growth rate for the last 10 years, if we see, of around 7.6%. And Bangladesh in this period has been growing at 16%. And Vietnam, a name we started hearing from 2010, has overtaken us today. It is at 17% growth. And there are countries like Indonesia and in fact Myanmar also that now we see a strong competition from. So either we grow or we slip. So there's no choice here. So if you have to grow, of course, one thing is to look at are we in the right product mix. The products we are in is, of course, largely determined by the kind of raw materials and other infrastructure support that was there for those products. But a lot has changed. One is the raw material mix. Of course, we had a very good value chain input base. But of course, there was a lot of technology and in terms of accessories, some limitations. A lot of it has been addressed. This year's foreign trade policy has liberalized imports of some of these, which the industry felt was required for moving into categories like we are talking of outerwear and some fancy products, and also the performance wears. So many of these have been liberalized. So today is a very right time to say that are we in the right product mix and how do we diversify? In fact, increase can happen both through product and market diversification, and there is a very strong linkage between the two. In the last 4-5 years, India has also been benefited from a lot of FTAs. There have been free trade agreements with two of leading countries. If not all of them have been beneficial, at least Japan and Singapore should have made a huge difference. But we were trying to study how much we have leveraged that, when we find that even in Japan's top 20 products, we have a 0.4% presence only as of today. So if you're looking at both the product and the mix of product and market, we are not in the right product baskets. In fact, where we are also, in some of them, the world trends are changing. So what we have tried to do, Apparel Export Promotion Council actually has been sitting down with a lot of clusters to discuss what are the products we should be like. Mr. Sharan was also of the view that we should pick up certain products. We try to do that. In fact, now we have categorized our strategy into threefold strategy. We have identified from the top 20 products that the world imports, some 5 products which have been consistently growing, and we have reasons to believe that that will grow. And the second category is where India is strong, but in terms of the 8-digit, what you call, the finer details of that category, we can move into higher value products there. Like if you're talking of women's wear, you can get into better finishes or some other ways of going into the higher value segments there. The third category that again we have understood and identified around 5 items out of that is the categories where China has vacated. In fact, in many of these categories, we found some $3 to $4 billion of market available today, and it's not a very difficult market, as we all know that we have everything. We have the raw materials and we have the expertise also for that. So what I would like to share as a strategy that we have started, and I think it can work, is have identified something like 15 top products from these 3 categories. And we have gone down to the clusters and are now discussing with them if there are people who are interested in forming product clubs for one item each. In fact, this also includes the 18 defined performance wear that is also available. And that's one area where I think we all are missing out on a huge opportunity available. So this product club is what now we are thinking of forming, and we were surprised at the kind of response we got from clusters like Jabalpur and Erode, which are not one of the top apparel clusters, but a lot of young entrepreneurs and new entrepreneurs are coming there. So I think it's a great time when you're having new entrepreneurs coming in the form of startups. A lot of them are coming from the fashion segment also. So that's one strategy that I think is very workable, to focus on one category. Here we have identified something like 15 to 16 categories and have the relevant entrepreneurs get into that, because then it is very easy for associations to work. We can give a platform whereby we bring in the input suppliers, the technology providers, and also work on market promotion on a very customized manner. So that is one thing I wanted to share, that that's one way we are trying to promote this. In fact, in that we are now coming out with e-learning tools and kits for a specified category, specified to the level of an 8-digit category. Like we are coming out with one on women's innerwear and one on babies' garments, where we want to have, on a partnership mode, we want to develop the complete market intelligence on the kind of best inputs and accessories that can go into that, the kind of finishes that will have the maximum acceptability, and of course the whole supply chain, how to make it most efficient for that. So that's one way that we are looking at it, and given the kind of policy support we have got with a lot of reforms in the labor laws, and of course some expanded scope of the support given through drawback and other measures, we are very hopeful that I think it's a good time to look at product diversification and innovation, and let's see, we should be able to come out with at least 5-6 new products, not new in the sense the world looks at it, but for India to have a significant presence in its export basket.
Yeah, thank you. I think Sanjeev wants to add a few more things, so let him add a few more things, and then I would do some summarization so that we complete the session as per the schedule given to him.
Yeah, we couldn't start on that time, but we can finish on the good. No, I really was listening with a lot of interest to what Chandrima had to say about the apparel export and the initiatives which you are taking. So first of all, with that package, you all are very happy that the product which you are going to make or exporting is a bit more viable than it was before? With the new package from the government? You got reason have to be very happy about it. So it's very viable in this thing. My question is that the raw material for the garment industry, which is i.e. the different fabrics, I do feel that processing somewhere or other is kind of a bottleneck. That is number one. Number two, that requires some more incentivization from the government in some way or other, be the depreciation or some more subsidy or some more benefit or addition in the TUF, because that should not be a limiting factor. Second thing, when we are talking about the new product and marketing, we have to make a strategy. Either it has to be product focus or it has to be market focus very clearly. Another thing is this, for the specialty products which we are talking, we should definitely go for the joint ventures with the leaders. Take advantage of their knowledge, with their expertise, with their experience, and let's see if there is a secondary market in all, and then we should go together and try and make it in India. The universities, for that matter, must relook at their syllabus. What are we teaching about smart textiles, which is technical textiles, and all these things? I do feel that requires a bit of an upgradation. I have a bit of an experience working for NIFT as its governor and chairman. And in 1.5 years, I did not go and cut any fita. All I did was that looking at the syllabi and really upgrading it with in tune with what was the New York, what was actually happening. So similarly, look at the things, because talent is there in India. When why my colleague Mr. Jain is there, go to Korea, and we are buying a very highly specialized techno product. And interestingly enough, one of the processing head was Indian. Then Government of India must allocate some research and development fund, which they have. And these big two majors of the fiber suppliers with their might, and in all fairness, 4 years before we started something, and Reliance was very happy to open their R&D center and give whatever we require, new yarns, conjugated yarns, and they were ready to work to take some company to take lead and start making the product. So government should find some funds. We make an association with these major producer of the raw material, all the councils take expertise and then move together. Because there is no sense in talking about this is Power Loom Export Council doing, this is Synthetic doing, this is Cotton Export Council is doing, and everybody, then we mitigate the main purpose. We all Indians, we all are from textile, and we all have to, one thing, that go for value addition, conquer the world. This is how I feel about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjay. I think I would like to summarize what we spoke. I think what we are looking is to increase the volume and the value. We need, number one, is new products. Number two, we need to have new markets rather than only conventional market. We need to increase a product basket. Can we go into geotextile? Can we go into home textile? Or do we concentrate only on the apparel market. So I think that is the area where we need to concentrate. I think we need to have a value proposition for our own product and how to add value. I must tell you that I was in China and I just came back yesterday. So the cost of production, as Sanjeev rightly said, is going up. The power cost is in the range of 10 to 11 cents a unit, which works out to, in today's dollar rupee rate, works out to almost 7 rupees a unit or 6.6 rupees a unit, which is quite high compared to some of the areas where we get a concessional power. Like in place like Silvassa, we get 3 rupees and 80 paisa or 4 rupees a unit is a power. So we are quite efficient on the cost factor. We are quite efficient on the labor cost point of view, but we need to improve the efficiency of the labor. What a Chinese labor does per person work, I think the same efficiency if we achieved here, I think it will be the different scenario. I think we need to concentrate on innovation. I think we must get out of the conventional product, conventional methodology, conventional market, and become a little more innovative in our approach. We need to concentrate on technical textile. This is one of the area which is ignored area in India, and how to capitalize that so that you increase your basket of product and you add more value. I think we also need to re-look into our supply chain management. I think how people work and supply chain strength becomes the selling point for some of the supplier. They want the product at the end of the day on a specified date. Are we capable of providing the product on the specified date, specified quality? So those are the area where we need to improve ourselves. Sanjeev did speak about the government policies and other things. But I think somewhere, maybe, I personally feel that industry needs to do on their own. Little support coming from government, but more efforts are required from the government, from the industry itself. I think apparel sector needs to act fast and catch the opportunity available in the marketplace. I think increase market share for all of us. That will be the motto. So with this, I would like to end this panel session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Udeshi. Your vast experience was well blended with your knowledge about the textiles and various sectors of textiles. And I am also very much thankful to you for talking about the aspirations that we all must make, all-out efforts to aspire for greater goals in the textiles. And I'm very happy that you have touched upon this point, that our global trade share must increase. In the morning, the chief guest has also touched upon this particular point when she said that our global trade share at the moment is only 5.8%. And definitely it needs to grow. So thank you very much for moderating the session in the most beautiful way. And I'm sure the delegates present here will benefit a lot with your oration. At the same time, I would like to thank Mr. Sanjeev Saran for also giving and went out his knowledge. And he also spoke about the specialty fibers. He spoke about quality versus volume. And then he also talked about the institutional support. And overall, he gave a very good picture as to how to increase the products in the Indian basket for the global market. Madam Chandrima Chatterjee, I would like to thank you also for a very, very excellent oration in which you have actually given a challenge to the Indian textile industry, that a place which is being vacated by way of China's trade decline, all-out efforts must be made to jump into that slot and capture it and grow. globally. And she is very, very, very optimistic that yes, keeping in view the talent that we have, keeping in view the resources we have, and also the government thrust of 600 crore to textile sector, it is not going to be difficult for the Indian textile industry to reach the pinnacles of success. So with these words, I would like to thank all the panelists, and I would request the audience to please give them a big hand for their orations.